As one of gaming's most iconic characters, the Doomslayer has become a legendary figure in the world of video games. His legacy stretches back to the early 90s when he was first introduced as the Doomguy. Over the decades, this silent, unstoppable force has evolved into the Doomslayer, a name that emits fear into the heart of any demon, if they even have one. The character's evolution has been shaped by years of intricate storytelling, much of which is explored through the lore presented in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, most notably in Eternal's flashbacks. These moments give us glimpses into his past, likely partially his motivations and the ancient war he was fighting in. And while some of his backstory has already been teased to becoming the Slayer, us fans will dive even deeper into his origins and the history of his battles in the upcoming Doom The Dark Ages, set to release this May. The story of Doom is a lot more complicated than most players seem to realize, but as a character, the Doomslayer is one of the most badass and memorable silent protagonists. This upcoming mainline installment of the Doom franchise promises to shed new light on the Doomslayer's journey, exploring uncharted territories of his past and the events that have shaped him into the relentless force he is today. With new lore and characters, fresh narratives, and perhaps some unexpected twists that might lead the bridge into Doom 2016, Doom The Dark Ages is sure to expand the understanding of the Doomslayer in ways we've never imagined. I honestly cannot wait for what ID Software and Hugo Martin are cooking up in terms of the storytelling of the origins of how he becomes the Doomslayer after the Divinity mission. But ultimately, we are not going to delve that far into the Doomslayer's background for this specific video. I honestly wanted to discuss the specific topic that I've heard in the Doom community time and time again, and it has really bothered me a lot honestly because I know much of the community really only focuses on the gameplay part of Doom, and kind of push away the storytelling beats and lore that the team at ID Software really put their time and effort into, which is really unfortunate since they do genuinely work hard on the writing, as much as some of that might hit more fanfic territory sometimes. The Ancient Gods, I'm kinda looking at you. But even when we're talking about ID Software's modern story with Doom, it wouldn't even really matter that much to mention. This assumption that I'm talking about goes farther than just Doom 2016's story. This assumption has been straight up wrong since Doom 1993, the original and first installment to the Doom franchise as a whole. This assumption that I'm talking about is the simple idea that the Doomguy / Doomslayer doesn't care about humanity. That he only started killing demons because they killed his pet rabbit Daisy. Now, Daisy is a very integral part of the story, don't get me wrong there, but she had nothing to do with why Doomguy started off his journey ripping and tearing demons in the first place. You see, to go back to the roots of the 1993 game's storyline, pretending that the extra bit of lore added in some of the recent games doesn't exist at this time, the story goes as you play as a space marine, one of Earth's toughest, hardened in combat, and trained for action. 3 years ago, you assaulted a superior officer for ordering his soldiers to fire upon civilians. He and his body were shipped to Pearl Harbor, while you, the Doom Marine, were transferred to Mars, home of the UAC, also known as the Union Aerospace Corporation. Shortly after this began the original story of Doom, as the Doom Marine was then transferred to Phobos, the first of Mars' moons, a security which starts his first chapter of his journey, the Hangar, the first level ever created for the Doom franchise. Almost everything I just said can be found both in the modern description of Doom in the recent Doom plus Doom 2 upgrade, or also found in the original Doom 1993 manual. It very clearly states that he did not want to shoot upon a group of civilians. Never does it say anything about him even second guessing it, and just for that reason it makes me sad that a lot of people genuinely believe he doesn't care about humans. Now, to further go into the story, the Doom Marine, directly after the events of Episode 3 Inferno, returned home to Earth only to find that it was not only invaded by demons as well, but also to find the decapitated head of his pet rabbit Daisy. There was once something I heard about this specific moment in the Doom story from another individual online, but unfortunately I cannot find where I found this comment. But I'd like to bring it up because I thought this was a very neat and unique perspective to view this death as. What the user mentioned was the idea that what Daisy was at this very point in time was the innocence that the Doomguy lost, and in a way represented the innocence that everyone had lost that day. That is what you took away from him. And if you take away something so valuable to someone, so pure, then you will lose it yourself. I believe wholeheartedly in that moment that moved the Doomguy to never quit. But it wasn't only that. The same day that he lost his own rabbit Daisy, he had lost his wife and very son. This was something that was actually added later on in Doom Eternal, found on a picture in the Fortress of Doom, later confirmed to be his family by Hugo Martin during a livestream. To go into the modern Doom games being Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, there's certain moments that show the Slayer as someone who doesn't fly with me as someone who's only angry and has zero feelings, as some might still interpret the character to be. I think one of the most notable ones is him showing his respect and honor to King Novik and the Argentas in Doom Eternal. You can also tell that he clearly has a a sense of humor when it comes to the amount of wacky and cool things you see in the Fortress of Doom, which is basically the main hub of Doom Eternal. He doesn't just do things without reason, which I think is a common misinterpretation when it comes to a lot of fans that just think that the only thought in his mind is to kill demons constantly due to his anger. I find someone like the Doomslayer, in a franchise so big and popular, to be very misunderstood as a character. Now, that's not to say that I know every little detail about him, nor am I knowledgeable enough to explain his entire motivations outright to you in an instant, as there's genuinely a lot to talk about, and we're still going to learn a lot more about him in the upcoming Doom the Dark Ages game. But there's clearly a misunderstanding when it comes to a lot of players that just play the game without really caring about reading the notes, or even care about the cutscenes. I think that as a character, he's very underrated and doesn't get enough appreciation. He's someone who lost his entire family, his home, his planet, his fellow soldiers who he fought alongside in battle, and over time, that is what keeps him going. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot as I've been trying to test out new and different things for the platform. We also just reached 100 subscribers not that long ago, and I think it's amazing that we reached that milestone goal, so please subscribe if you liked the video. Otherwise, what do you want to see from the future of the Doom franchise, as they've already mentioned that the Dark Ages will only be one of many Doom games to be released in the future. The Dark Ages is only 3 months away from releasing, and I cannot wait to see what it brings to the table in terms of gameplay, as well as the origins of the Slayer and fight against Hell and its armies, this time in medieval fashion. That being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.